Hey, did you know Aura Shards is a May ability? When we first started playing EDH, many years back, we would go to a weekly commander event, and one time, we wound up in a pod with one of the store owners. And his deck even now is the most memorable we've ever seen. We recently learned we hold a lot of the decks we happen upon near to our heart. This was also our first time ever seeing cards like Braid of Fire or Mana Kaiser getting used. The commander was Kumano, Master Yamabushi, who, for 1 red and a colorless, can deal 1 damage to any target. And if a creature dealt by Kumano would die, it gets exiled instead. The deck was mono red Artifact Tron, utilizing effects such as Basilisk Collar and the like to grant Kumano specifically Death Touch. But it also had cool interactions between things like Goblin Welder and Spine of Ish-Sa. It was a secret control deck, keeping everyone away from getting too scummy with their plays. But that was the thing that stuck with us more than anything else. That they had all this power, and they didn't just clear the board every turn. They would only go after stuff that was going to pop off, or things right as they were popping off. We feel that store owner took personal responsibility for the enjoyment of the entire table, even letting the player who was popping off keep their engines, only removing the relevant combo pieces. He, the player, had amazing discernment, and Kumano, the deck, had surgical precision when it came to momentary and long-term judgment calls. Recently, we have been reflecting on what little time we spent with that deck, and we have learned to abide by what we call the stayed hand principle. This has influenced our Guile deck most overtly, but more importantly, it influences every one of our decks through how we play Commander. We tell ourselves constantly, we don't need to counter every spell, remove every creature, destroy everything, all just to win, and that has made most of our games far more enjoyable. We don't need to try and oversee every person's plays. We merely allow people to be until the threat becomes immediate. Then we remove it and only it, preferably permanently, but Magic has a lot of cards. We also keenly tool our decks to not wantonly take things from the players not in first. Board wiping every turn will for sure stop the player in first, but it will also ruin the player in third and fourth. We have begun in both deck design and in play to take responsibility for the enjoyment of the entire table. Maybe it's cringe, but we care a lot about how people treat each other. And you can tell that it's not as important as it should be to most people. So did you remember that Aura Shards is a May ability? In our opinion, it only hits Game Changer status because your average Magic player, simply said, has no self-control. We feel the Game Changer list itself is quite silly, but more so because they're mostly tutors. And as we all know, tutors are not the problem, it's what gets tutored for that is. Aura Shards is special even on this list, being one of the only 3 Game Changers that are May abilities, the others being Consecrated Sphinx and Tergrid. And while we don't recommend the Consecrated Sphinx player ever refuse drawing cards, as we mentioned in a previous video, drawing cards is a non-invasive way to accrue value and we love them for it. When it comes to Aura Shards, we have seen many games where the Aura Shards player quickly runs out of relevant targets, but the Aura Shards isn't dealt with, so it'll just continue to break any and everything from Mono Rocks to Artifact lands until it becomes clear that no one else is allowed to have artifacts or enchantments in play, but Aura Shards is a May ability.